Hey, stop licking that bed and lay down. Move. Move. Get off it. And let's straighten it out now. Lay down. It's fine. You don't need to adjust it anymore. Now, hush. Be quiet. Thank you. Hey everybody, so I'm back again with another recap of 90 Day Fiance. I was really disappointed when I saw that there's another episode. Normally there's 10 episodes in a season, and I thought that this week was going to be like the last episode and then the tell-all after that, but it turns out we have another week. So we're just going to power right through this recap. I'm probably going to start to give like my final thoughts on what's going on with the couples instead of going like a play-by-play by scene. But yeah, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe to my channel so that you can be alerted every time I drop videos each and every week. And also like and share with somebody else who loves 90 Day Fiance just as much as we do over here in the trashy community. All right, let's get on to this recap. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with Kalani and Asuelu. This week, it's really getting close to Kalani and Asuelu's wedding date. And in fact, it's like the day before. Kalani's sister, Kolini, has come into town and her mom is there. And first scene, they're getting their nails done. And Kolini does not know that Kalani is pregnant yet. And Kalani is scared to tell her. This is what I don't understand about Kalani. Kalani confuses me so much because she is literally a 30-year-old child. She's a 30-year-old child. And I don't even blame her because I feel like it's her family's doing. I feel like her family has created this childish person who has not grown up and accepted responsibilities for their actions. See, my thing is, if you're grown enough to be having sex regularly, if you're grown enough to bring a whole man from another country and get engaged to him, if you're grown enough to already have a child, you're grown enough to tell people that you're pregnant. I don't understand why she's acting like her sister's gonna, and I mean, I get it. She knows her sister's gonna be upset about it, but to me, I'm a grown woman and I'm gonna own up to it. I'm just gonna be like, hey, look, I know you're gonna be mad, but you can feel however you feel. I'm pregnant, okay? This is my future husband. We are married and we're grown. And if we wanna have another baby, then we can do that. And you just have to deal with it. Like, that's how I feel like she should have treated the situation with her sister, but no, she's acting all scared. She couldn't even like find the words to tell her sister she was pregnant when they're at the nail shop. Kalani's talking about the bachelorette party. She's talking about how much fun they're gonna have drinking. Of course, Kalani can't drink. She's scared to say, you know, why she can't drink. Kalani's confused. So fast forward later in the episode when they're actually at the bachelorette party, Kalani's acting like, you know, she wants to party. She wants to have a good time. And Kalani's just, you can tell Kalani is so nervous to tell her sister this. So finally, she's like, okay, let's just go off to the side for a minute because I got something to talk to you about. She tells Kalani she's pregnant. And I get why Kalani is upset. Let me just start with that. I get it. Okay, Kalani has nothing. Asuelu has nothing. Okay, they can barely take care of themselves. So I can see why she was like, you gonna have another baby? Like, I've had that feeling before. I have friends who, you know, I have a friend of mine who I love to death, and her boyfriend had a baby, and then like 3 years later she got pregnant again. And I remember my first thought was, how y'all gonna take care of another baby? You know what I mean? Like, that was my first thought, was like, I was sad for her, but I wasn't angry at her to the point where she felt like our relationship would be in jeopardy if she told me. Because at the end of the day, her and her man are grown adults and that's their business. And I still love her and I love her kids. They're like my nephews. I mean, I love them. And you shouldn't be scared to tell somebody grown folks business. Okay, like, you're grown, you're getting married to this man, y'all are together, you say you want to be with him now. So you know what? We're having another baby. And she was, like I said, I get why Kalani was upset, but what I don't understand is the degree of the upset that she was. I mean, crying, acting like the world was coming to an end. I'm like, your sister is 30. She's 30 years old. There's no way that my older sister could come to me and be like, I'm pregnant. I don't care what state of life she's in. I don't care if she has a great job with benefits and making 6 figures, or if she works at Target. You know, she's 30 and that's her man, and that they already have a baby together. And Kalani was talking about, oh, maybe Asuelu did this on purpose to tie her down. How? How is baby number 2 gonna tie her down? So baby number 1, it doesn't tie them together. That's what you're saying to me, Kalani. Baby number 1 has no tie between Kalani and Asuelu. They already have a child together. I can see if this was the first child, like right before she gets married, he comes to the United States, boom, she pops up pregnant. I might could see justifying the whole he's trying to trap her argument. But they already have a child. So what are you saying? Like 2 babies is bigger of a trap than 1 baby? Like 2 babies, oh, you trying to trap her now. They already have a child. They already got a whole family. And they're grown. Let these grown folks make their grown decisions. I mean, look, don't ask me for nothing. Like, no, I cannot help you raise your child because your man is here now. And I can see her being disappointed. Like, dang, this is not a good time for y'all to have a baby. Like, he can't work. You don't really have a job. But for her to be devastated and acting like the world was ending was ridiculous to me. I don't understand why Kalani's family treats her like she's 16. I mean, the way Kalani reacted, you would have thought her 16-year-old little sister was coming to her and telling her she was pregnant. That's how her whole family treats her. And that's why she acts like a 10-year-old, because her family treats her that way. She needs to woman up and take responsibility for her actions. Okay, if you grown enough to be doing the thing all the time, acting like you can't wait and you can't stop and you can't protect yourself and get on birth control, then you grown enough to let the whole world know that you're pregnant and that was a grown-up decision and you just have to own it, Kalani. Like, they get on my nerves. Apparently, Kalani and Asuelu are getting married next week. We'll see what happens with them. Kalani is... Clearly, all these people are slightly unhinged, because I don't understand why a 30-year-old being pregnant is breaking news. But let's move on to the next couple. Okay, so the next couple is Steven and Olga. So this week we start out with Olga and her friend Anna, and baby, they are the turtleneck twins because they are both giving me long neck realness, okay? They have on these amazing turtlenecks and they visit each other. Olga gets to break away from baby Richie for probably all of 15 minutes before it's time for him to eat again so that she can go visit her friend Anna. Basically, in a nutshell, their whole visit boils down to that Anna doesn't trust Steven, and neither does anybody else that I've seen trust him. Now, I will say kudos to some of the people who were in my comments last week on my last video, because you guys called it, you hit the nail on the head. I never even thought, it never even occurred to me that Steven maybe didn't apply for Olga's visa actually, but some of you pointed out that you need sponsors and things like that, and you need a certain amount of income to be able to bring someone from another country over, or you have to have a family member sign for you. Remember with Asin and Nicole. And so some of you are pointing out the fact that like Steven has nothing. How is he able to, give Olga her K1 visa? So that was like my first clip. You guys got the wheels turning. So thank you for that intel on that. Maybe Steven didn't actually apply for Olga's visa. Then as I was watching the episode, Olga was starting to get suspicious herself after, of course, her friend Anna said that she didn't trust him. She didn't think that he actually applied. So now Olga's wheels are turning. And she says that she never saw any papers at all dealing with the K1 visa. All she has is Steven's word saying that he applied. Once I heard those words come out of her mouth, I knew right then and there he did not apply, because there's absolutely no way he applied for a K1 visa and Olga had nothing to sign. She never had to go to her embassy and give her birth certificates, her social, you know what I mean? Like her information, like the foreign person has to do some work on their end as well when it comes down to getting a K1 visa. So there's absolutely no way he could have applied for it and Olga has seen nothing, heard nothing, knows nothing. So at that point, I knew he didn't. So fast forward later in the episode, he sits her down and he basically admits to her that he never applied for the K1 visa. What he says is that he didn't apply for it because they didn't really know each other. Their relationship really wasn't a relationship, and he wanted to get to Russia first and see if they could even be together before he actually applied. And that makes perfect sense. I totally get that. Like, that makes sense to me. Like, he didn't know her. They dated for literally like a month and a half. He wanted to get to Russia and visit her and get to know her and see, hey, maybe can this work before I apply for the K1 visa? I totally get that. What I don't condone is you lying repeatedly to this girl's face. What I can't take, and I could almost take a lie if it's over the phone, like we're texting and I'm like, hey, did you apply? And you're like, oh yeah, it's done. But for you to look me in my face, in my eyes, over and over again, I'm asking you questions about the visa, You went to go talk to a lawyer. You come back and tell me, oh, it's going to take a while, and you haven't even applied. Why couldn't you just be honest and say, I don't want to apply just yet. I want to wait and see if this relationship can work. But no, instead, you lie to her and tell her that you applied for the visa when you didn't. And then you scheme behind her back to steal her baby and take it to the United States without her. I cannot condone this. Stephen, you're a liar. Like, as much as you want to sugarcoat it and make it sound like you were looking out for your best interests, and you can spin it any way you want to, baby boy, at the end of the day, you lied. You're a liar. Like, that's all I see is a lie. And what I don't understand is how quickly, and I'm thinking Olga may have already known, and maybe that whole scene where he was telling her might have been staged, because it was too quick. It was like, oh yeah, I've been lying to you all this time, but I love you. And I realized that, we do need to be together. So I'm going to apply for the K-1 visa as soon as I can now. And I also decided that I'm not going to steal our baby from you and take it to America. So will you marry me? No, I won't marry you. Like, you and that cubic zirconia ring can go back to America where you came from. No. Like, that to me is a huge character flaw. I don't care what his reasoning was. And then he wasn't even apologetic about it. Like, he wasn't even like, oh my gosh, I feel so terrible. I'm so sorry I've been lying to you. Please forgive me. Can you ever forgive me for lying to you? This is why I did it, but I'm so sorry. He just was like, well, I didn't know you, so I didn't want to get a K-1 visa without knowing you. I wanted to come here first and see if we meshed well. So that's why I didn't apply for it. Like, no, don't tell me why you didn't apply for it. Tell me why you lied to my face for months. For months. That's low. And I could not have that quickly just overlooked the whole lying for months just because he gets down on one knee and flashes a ring. But, here's my thing about Olga. Olga is an orphan. Olga has a sad story. And I think that Olga wants a family because she never had one. And I get that. Like, my heart goes out to her. I get why she wants a family because she never had one. So I think that she is willing to overlook anything that Stephen does, no matter how shady it is, in order to keep her family together. I hope that Stephen learns from his mistakes. I hope he grows into a better man than what we've seen on this show. From what I understand, he and Olga are together as of now. And I want the best for them, but that was really big. That hurt my heart to see that he just sat up and lied to that girl for months like that. That's ridiculous to me. And there's no way you would have gotten a yes from a proposal for me 30 seconds after you just told me you've been lying to me for months. It's not going to happen. But Olga wants her family, and it looks like she's going to get it. I hope that Stephen does better in the future. Best of luck to them in their future endeavors. Let's move on to the next couple. Okay, so third is Jonathan and Fernanda. And basically in this episode, Jonathan and Fernanda made up. Fernanda wrote Jonathan a letter, basically apologized for her behavior, for the fight that was fake. And they made up, and it looks like they're getting married. I really have nothing else to say about them. Nothing else happened. Like, there's nothing to recap here. That's it. She wrote him a letter. She read it to him. They cried a little bit. She said, I'm sorry. And yeah, they're getting married. Just like I said, they were getting married 4 weeks ago. So I don't know why everybody's threatening like they're going to go back home, because they're not. Nobody's going back home. Nobody's leaving America. None of these people are going home, but everybody wants to threaten like they're going to go somewhere. You ain't going nowhere. Sit your silly self down. Let's move on to the next couple. Okay, so next is Eric and Leda. So basically this episode, Eric is going on a forgive me tour with his kids to try to get them back in his life again. And they're hearing none of it. And neither are we. Eric took his $3 out to dinner, including Tasha. So there's Tasha, Captain, and Tennille. And they went out to dinner, and they basically gave Eric the what for and the whose is it. Eric was trying to explain himself to them and basically begged them to come to the wedding. Here's the thing. Eric wants to have his cake and eat it too. See, he wants to have a good relationship with his kids because he's crying on camera talking about how he needs to make decisions for himself now, and it's time for him to have love and him to have the things that he's wanted, and he's held off on his whole life for his kids, and now it's time for him to have what he wants. But he still wants a relationship with his kids. Meanwhile, having a relationship with the bride of Chucky, literally, it's not going to work. Who doesn't want to help him foster a relationship with his kids? See, he has polar opposite things that he's trying to give himself to. He wants his kids, but he wants to be with a woman who doesn't encourage a relationship with his kids. And that's a problem. So when he goes to his kids and says, I want you guys to come to the wedding, meanwhile, you're marrying a woman who has disrespected us and disregarded us as second-class people in your life, what are we supposed to do with that, Dad? Like, as your child, what am I supposed to do with that? Am I supposed to be happy that you're marrying this woman who basically wants you to have nothing to do with us financially, nothing to really do with us relationally? I don't understand how you want me to be happy for you in this and how you want me to support this and come to this wedding. Eric is basically begging. The kids really aren't hearing it. Tasha definitely wasn't hearing it. Tasha is done, and I don't blame her. Yeah, I'm definitely on the girl side. Eric, if you want to have a close relationship and you want to move on with your romantic life, you've got to get with somebody who encourages your relationship with your kids, who loves your kids like they're their own kids. You cannot possibly get with a woman who says she wants you to stop paying child support. She wants you to put her child, who's not yours, before your own flesh and blood. I don't understand how he thinks that these two things are going to fit together in his world. Because he really seems like he really wants to have a relationship with his kids, and he can't understand why they don't want to come to the wedding. It's like he don't get it. You don't get that your new wife is basically saying, my son and me are your whole family now, and you can't have the family you had previously. I don't see how he doesn't understand that. It's not hard. This is not a difficult concept. I don't know what else to say about this. I mean, he is going to have to make a clean break from his kids. As bad as that sounds, if he wants to stay with Layla, he's not going to have a relationship with his kids. It's not going, it can't. Those two things cannot occur at the same time. Choose. He going to have to either choose Layla and Alessandro or his kids. That's what it boils down to. He needs to make a choice. And it's looking like he's choosing a romantic relationship with some woman that he's known for 3 minutes over his children that he's raised their entire lives. And one of them who is still underage and is not even done being raised yet. I could see Captain and Tennille. They're kind of grown. But the little baby girl, what's her name?
Jenica.
Jennifer? Generica?
Jenica.
I don't know.
Jenica.
Something with a J. The little one is like 10. And then they interviewed her outside and she had more sense than her daddy. She was basically like, Layla was blowing up at the house, acting a fool. She didn't think that whatever was going on with Tasha was enough to warrant throwing her out on the street. This baby is 10 and understands this whole scenario better than a 40-year-old man does. Why are the kids on the show always the voices of reason? They are always the ones who have more sense than their parents every single time. It never fails. Like I said, just to sum up the Eric and Layla situation, Eric cannot have both. He is going to have to choose. It's looking like he's choosing Layla at this point, but choosing Layla basically means you will not have a relationship with your daughters, because that is not going to work. I don't think this is ever going to be mended. I don't think there's ever going to be a point where Layla and his kids get along and his ex-wife gets along. It's not going to work. If he marries Layla and moves on with his life with her and Alessandro, that means abandoning his kids. He can pay his child support until Giera turns...
Giera? Jenica.
Whatever. Until the baby girl turns...
Lord.
Jenica. Isn't that it?
Yes.
Jenica. Until Jenica turns 18, I'm sure he'll still send the checks. But as far as a relationship, a father-daughter relationship, he will have zilch, nada, nothing with his daughters if he marries Layla. And it looks like he's going to marry her. So, you know, best of luck to him and the bride of Chucky. I wish him all the best, but that's it for his relationship with his daughters. Let's move on to the next couple. Next is Colt and Larissa. So basically in this episode, Larissa has basically decided to wave the white flag. She understands that Colt and Debbie have a very unique relationship and she can't come in between it. She's basically given up on trying to control the situation, on trying to pull Colt away from his mom, on trying to separate them, which is what a wife should do. A husband should leave his mother and cleave to his wife, but she sees now that Colt's not doing it. So I think she's just like, it's whatever. Let's just do this wedding and let's get it over with. I can't do nothing about Debbie. Debbie's just gonna be here. I can't get rid of Debbie. She's not going anywhere. Colt's not gonna get rid of her. So you know what? If you can't beat them, join them. So her and Debbie head on to the nail shop to get their nails done. They kind of have a little therapy session with the nail techs. They talk about the issues that they've had, and then they kind of have a little sweet moment where they both admit that they've done some crazy stuff. And they both kind of come to like a resolution. It wasn't like a real like reconciliation, but it was kind of like an understanding to me. This is what I saw from that scene. It was an understanding between Debbie and Larissa that, hey, you know, Colt wants both of us in his life, and we got to get along for that to happen. So let's just try to get along with each other, and let's stop trying to get rid of the other. Now, even though Debbie did say, you know, he was happy for Colt and Larissa, that they're getting married, I don't believe Debbie for a second. I think that Debbie wants Larissa to go away, and I still think that Larissa wants Debbie to go away, but I think for now they're kind of putting down their arms, they're calling a truce, and they're just gonna live out the rest of their days, or however long this marriage lasts. I give Colt and Larissa a year or two married before it goes south, but they're gonna try to work it out. Meanwhile, it's probably gonna be like all hell's breaking loose. This marriage is not gonna work just because Colt and Debbie are so close. Larissa cannot come in between that. What I would suggest for Larissa to do not marry Colt. Take your behind back to Brazil. Go home. Let this man have his real wife, who is his mother. You cannot compete with Debbie. You're gonna lose every single time. Like, that's what I think. But she's still trying to work this out. She still wants to marry Colt because she's here now and really wants that American citizenship. I think she really wants to have that luxurious American life that she's seen in the movies. Even though Colt really doesn't have any money, it's like, I'm here now. I just gotta go with it. I think Larissa should go home. I don't think this is gonna work. Like, she's not gonna compete with Debbie. Debbie's gonna win every time, but she's trying to make it work, and I commend her for that. Colt and Larissa are gonna get married next week. It's pretty much set in stone, and Debbie is, you know, hey, Debbie knows that this is not gonna last, so I think Debbie's just gonna like lie low until this blows over and she can get her man back. That's probably what's gonna happen with them. But that was it for Colt and Larissa. Let's move on to the next couple. So last is Jay and Ashley. So this week, all of the SHIT hit the fan. So they get back from their Vegas vacation. They actually got married in Vegas. And you know what? The whole time that Jay was like talking to the producers while he was getting dressed for the wedding, he was saying some real suspect things. Like, everything he said was making me squint because he kept talking about how young he was, how crazy it is for him to be getting married at 20, about how he has to lay down his whole life and he has to stop his hoish ways. And to me, it felt like a guilty person who was like just spilling their guts to somebody that they didn't know. I just didn't feel good about it at all. It just made me feel uneasy because even though he was like saying how much he loved Ashley and how, you know, he's marrying her, but he basically was like, I'm here now. I can't leave, even though I don't really want to get married, but you know, she cool. I like her. And so I'm gonna marry her. Like, that's not what you want to hear your husband saying on your wedding day. Of course, Ashley didn't hear this, but still, it was real shaky. So they get married in Vegas. You know, it was a silly ceremony. They got married at the Elvis chapel. Elvis married them with silly vows. It was not serious at all. To me, it was like a joke. And I was like, for Jay to be 20 and not taking this seriously already, the last thing we need for him is to be getting married by Elvis saying, you know, vows like, I'm not going to leave you at the Heartbreak Hotel. Like, he needs something serious to like shake him and be like, dude, this is for real. Like, this is not a joke. I felt like their wedding was a joke. He's a joke. It's like nothing was serious. Like, say some serious vows, like maybe write your own vows. Like, it just seemed like not serious. And so to me, it was like just another, you know, added to the recipe for disaster. In the episode, Ashley has summoned the producers to her house. It looked as if they were not filming. It looked like it was the dead middle of the night. Ashley's sitting on the couch. You can clearly tell she's been crying. So she commences to tell the story. So this is what happened. So
really, like, they just got back, or it's a week after they got married. And Jay was, I don't know where he was, in the shower or something, but his phone rings and it's somebody FaceTiming him, some unknown female. So Ashley doesn't answer it, but she notices it, so she gets the phone, opens it, and messages the girl and is like, why are you messaging my husband at 11:45 at night? And the girl was like, who is this? Like, who are you talking about? And she was like, my husband, Jay. And she was like, the dude that I met on Tinder, the Jamaican guy? And so she proceeds to talk to the girl. The girl sends screenshots. Basically, they've been talking back and forth. Jay is on Tinder, acting as if he's single, and he's talking to girls, and they had planned to meet up. Apparently, Ashley intercepted it before they did, but we're pretty sure that this girl is not the first, and nor will she be the last. So she confronts Jay about it. They get into an argument. Jay punches a hole in the wall and leaves. And so now Ashley's left there by herself, and the producers are there filming this.
Says that she actually went to go see Natalie to be consoled after she found out Jay was cheating, and basically, you know, because Natalie was the only one who was saying beforehand that he actually was cheating. And the thing about Natalie is she was absolutely 100% correct. She was right. She called it. She knew Jay was cheating on her. Ashley didn't want to listen. But to me, if you tell somebody that their man is cheating or that you suspect their man of cheating and they hit you back with a, girl, I don't believe you. Girl, I don't care if he is. He's doing his own thing in Jamaica. I don't care about that. Then you should leave it at that. I don't feel like you should have to lose a friend because your friend's making bad life choices. Like, I can be your friend and I can love you in the middle of you making terrible decisions. That's how I feel like friendship should be. I feel like friendship should be an unconditional love. I don't think friendship should be contingent upon whether or not you agree with what I say, whether or not you listen to my advice, whether or not you do what I tell you to do. Like, that's not a friend. Like, I'm not your mama. Like, I can tell you, but if you choose to continue to date a man who is cheating on you, then that's you because you're grown. I'm still going to be your friend. I'm still going to love you. And you know what? I feel like Ashley, maybe if she just didn't believe in their love, she should have been like, you know what? I love you. I'm still here for you and I support you, but I don't want to be in the wedding. I'll just come and sit in the back or something. Like, if you just felt that strongly about it, maybe just bow out of being a bridesmaid. But I didn't feel like Natalie had to take it to the point that she did, showing up at her house, even though I know this all was like fake drama, showing up at her house, beating on the door, making a scene at the party, just doing too much. Like, just tell her what you think and sit back. Like, I do that all the time. Like, tell people what's going to happen. If they don't believe me, that's fine. I'm sitting back chilling. I'm living my life. I still love you. We're still friends, but I'm not going to keep beating you over the head with my prediction of what's about to happen to you in the future. I'm just going to let the prediction beat you over the head. I'm going to let it bust you in the head when it happens because you chose to keep going down that path. I can't stop you. So I feel like Natalie's approach was terrible, even though she had correct information. She was not being a good friend. And I think Ashley did I say Natalie? I meant Natalie if I didn't. But Ashley did the right thing to put her out of her wedding because it's like, you doing too much. So Ashley is devastated. Ashley is sitting there crying, saying the signs were there. She didn't listen to them. And I don't feel bad for Ashley, but I do. It's like, I hate to see any woman get done wrong by a man. Like, that's just the feminist in me. Like, I want all women to be happy and in love and be treated well and be treated right and not get cheated on. So like, the feminist in me is like heartbroken for Ashley that she was done wrong by her husband, who made vows to her and made promises to her that he was going to be faithful to her regardless of the signs that were there. He still broke his vow. So that part of me like feels bad for her. But then the other part of me, the savage part of me, is like, girl, you getting exactly what you deserve. Like, what do you expect from a 20? He wasn't even like a mature 20-year-old. He was a 20-year-old who was just being a hoe when you met him. Like, you can't be doing hoish things when I meet you and me expect you to change. I don't know. I feel I've heard men say that they'll change for the right woman. But to me, if your character is already unsavory when I meet you, I'm not trying to like be the one to change you. I want you to already be like on either, not necessarily like you have to be an angel when I meet you, but you have to already be like on that mature path or like looking for your wife or something like that. Not like in the streets being Skins Jr. And then I'm thinking I'm just going to marry you. Like, that's not going to work for me. Jay exhibited all the signs of a cheater and he did exactly what we all knew he was going to do. I was a little shocked that he did it so soon after, but Ashley kind of gets what she gets. I'm not going to say she gets what she deserves because nobody deserves that, but she gets exactly what's coming to her based on the evidence that was there. She chose to ignore it. And honestly, I think she ignored it because Jay introduced her to something that she probably had never had before. She was a white girl from Pennsylvania who was married before with 2 kids, or not married before, but has 2 kids and, you know, basically probably lived a super boring life. And Jay comes in and he's young and he's fun and he's silly. And it was all these things that she could just let go and like not be herself for a little while. She didn't have to be the mom. She didn't have to be the hardworking single mother. She didn't have to be whatever it is. She didn't have to be buttoned up and clean cut. She could let loose. She could be wild. She could be freaky and nasty and all these things. And Jay introduced her to all that. And it was like, she couldn't see anything for that. He probably gave her some of the best sex she had ever had. It was just like all this stuff that she was being introduced to new was blinding her. And I wish that it were more like a Stella got her groove back situation where, yeah, this guy introduced her to fun and great sex and just this side of her where she could let loose and also be a great guy who she could fall in love with. But no, she got skins and she got her heart broke. And I feel really bad for her. But at the same time, it's like, girl, the signs were all there. Why didn't you follow them? Jay needs to get out. I saw at the end of the episode, they left it on a cliffhanger. Jay came back home and asked her, did she want to talk about it? He would not have keys to my house. He would not be rolling around in my car. No. Pack your bags. Let's get a flight right now. You're going back to Jamaica. I would have sent him back. Like, you're going back. You can't stay here. I don't know where you're going to go. Oh, Lord. I think that he's going to talk himself back. Somehow he's going to sweet talk himself back in. I don't know how, but I don't see that she's done. I think she's mad. I think she's hurt right now. But I think he's going to sweet talk his way back in. And unfortunately, she's going to take him back probably. I think he's going to be able to cheat on her probably a couple more times before she's actually like done, like fed up. But yeah, so that was it for this episode. Thank you guys so much for sticking around to the end of this episode. You have no idea how much it means to me every time you watch my videos. Go ahead and leave a like, a comment if you have something to talk about that I maybe missed, or something that you disagree, agree, whatever. Leave a comment, and also share and subscribe. Thank you guys so much, and I'll see you next week in the recap. Bye.